You. Just to let you know before we begin, When the Stars Fell is a Dungeons & Dragons podcast for adults, and contains some less than savory language. Even though it takes place in a make-believe world, listener discretion is advised. Thank you.
Hey guys, this episode of When the Stars Fell is going to be a little bit different. It's only going to have me, Ray, and Molly in it. The full cast will be back on November 20th when we come out with our next episode. This is going to be kind of like an in-between part, but it'll still be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy.
Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby. Don't let them rain on your spark. Keep it close to your heart. All of the pressure's gonna drive you crazy. Close your eyes to the madness. In the morning it's all gonna vanish. Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.
It's quite late at night. You guys have had a really long day, traveling, getting to know entirely new people, socializing, then going and finding a murder that has taken place, then being tracked down by like secret assassin people. It's been a long day, and as a lot of people have retired to go to bed, you Solstice have chose to do something different, haven't you? Instead, you decide to take advantage of the night and to head off on your own quest. So I gotta ask, where is Solstice going?
Solstice is going to the fort that it was Wahlock and Eridanus. I think that's how you pronounce his name. They both tried to attack those two guards. She is on the search for more information about Elias.
Alicia?
Alicia, yes, thank you. Want to make sure that I'm getting my names right, but I'm terrible about it.
No, that's good. That's good.
Her thought process is that if Xanathar is known as this guy, he's the guy that gets around things, but like he could get even around the king. What is Alicia in the same regard? Like, we don't know yet. We don't know that information. We just know that she's the assistant. She could be anything. She could be anything she wants at that rate. She could even be plotting against Xanathar, and we don't know that. She wants more information on her. So even she is a little fishy as to how quickly this is starting to become a little bit more challenging than she originally anticipated. Plus, she's also excruciatingly mad at Eridanus and Wahlock and fighting the guards without her, because she agrees with Eridanus's belief in protecting the homeless because she was and technically is homeless. And she believes in helping the poor kind of a situation. She's always been like a steal from the rich kind of, and do what I can with it, but give some to the poor. Kind of Robin Hood-esque, but she wants better for what, like, you know, her and her mom. And so to see and hear that the guards are doing that kind of thing, she's like, no, I don't agree with that either. So why didn't you take me? Why'd you take me with you? So she wants to go and find out what's up. There's, like, stuff that she got left out on. So, there you go.
Yeah,
That's for sure. Reasoning.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, so as Solstice is getting ready to sneak out into the night, why don't you give me a stealth check to see how well you are able to...
Stealth check. What would that be, my good sir?
It'd be a D20, and it would be under your skills.
10 plus 5 is 15.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. You're pretty stealthy. You're pretty sure you got out without anyone seeing you. Ray, give me a perception check.
Perception? That's a new one.
Yep.
He heard her fart as she left out of the window.
So that's 16 plus 2.
Okay. Dang. All right.
I woke up to take a wee
yeah.
and have a drink, and I heard the window was open.
And as you look out to the open window, you see this very big gecko jumping from rooftop to rooftop.
Actually, no. I love the concept that he's in mid-pee in the chamber pot. And by the window, there's just movement. Just sees a shadow.
Even better. Even better. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you definitely see movement by the window, and it just like flies past and starts jumping from rooftop to rooftop. So Solstice, you're making your way towards this fort. So as you're running across the rooftops, it's a pretty clear night tonight. There's not a lot of clouds, so the stars are quite bright, but not like, since the moon is still at its crescent phase, it's not lighting up a whole lot, which helps you even more in keeping to the shadows. And as you are approaching the tower, you see these giant, like, arcane lamps. At first, they look like they're flames, but it's like there's this lens on the front that focuses the giant bonfire into a flood of light, and it explodes it out into like a circle, but condenses the light.
It is a lamp. How big is it?
These are pretty big. So we're talking like spotlight kind of big. It looks like a spotlight for what we would call a spotlight, but it's like this campfire that is then being focused by like this arcane lens.
I gotcha.
And you see that it's kind of like moving around slowly, kind of sweeping the area. Go ahead and give me a perception check as well.
So that is 18 plus 3 would be 21.
And what you can see is that not only are these lamps, but there's definitely guards that have started to walk around and just patrol the top of the walls of this fort. There's definitely a lot more than you remember Eridanus saying or Wahlock saying. They were talking about maybe a couple guards on top of this fort, the fort walls. There seems to be quite a few more. And they seem to be a lot more active on their patrol, to where there's at least like 10 of them, each in groups of 2 that are walking around to each corner. And typically there's one traversing as well. Because it's like the fort is like a 4-corner thing. And so like one will move to the other and then they'll move to the other.
How close is the nearest house to the fort?
Yeah, so the fort actually takes up a space, and it's probably about, I would say probably around 30 or 40 feet in between, like the road that is in between the fort and the nearest house is about 40 feet. Yeah, there's a bit of like really nice chiseled sidewalk that goes around the fort. Because the fort looks pretty nice. Like, could it withstand like an attack? Meh, but it looks really good.
My question is, this is gonna sound very particular. Are the shingles on the roof made of stone, or are they made of like shingle material?
This is a great question. So actually, normally like we're used to like kind of pointed roofs. A lot of the roofs here are very flat. There's a couple that have like very slight shingling that's like a ramp almost, but because there's not a lot of rain that happens here, there's a lot of just flat roofs. Like clearly these are designed for people to go up and sit on and like enjoy being outside, right? Some of them have like coverings that are just like tarp and sticks. Others are much more elegant.
What solid objects are nearby that's throwable?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you wanted to grab a shingle off, like you'd be able to take one off pretty easily. Like they're not super held on tightly, right? But there's like also pots and I would say like loose stones that are just kind of like laid around from previous building projects.
Got a couple of concepts.
Okay.
What she's thinking. This is what I'm gonna give the DM an insight of what she's thinking.
Go for it.
She is on a house roof. She's looking toward this fort and she sees what's going on. She sees the guards. She is thinking to herself, "Man, this is gonna be a bit pickle to get in. I need a distraction." So I'm saying that she takes up a shingle, she chucks it into a glass window nearby in one of the houses.
Okay.
She lets out a yell. Then she's gonna cast fog, disappear, and go the opposite way from where the guards are coming.
So yeah, you could easily, there are some different loose stones, there are shingle pieces you could easily, Solstice could easily grab, whichever one you want to take.
At least 3.
So you have 3 in your hand now. I'll need you to make, we'll go dexterity check, because this is more like accuracy rather than strength, I'm guessing.
15 plus 2 is 15.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So yeah, Solstice, you wind back, and kind of figure out how far you want to throw it. You toss it, and it's pretty good. The arc seems like it's carrying the brick pretty well, and it crashes in a nearby window of the house.
All right. And then she goes, "Help! Someone help! Someone's robbing me!"
I will let you do either a performance or a persuasion check.
Question, would it be a deception by chance?
Oh, yeah, actually, so performance or deception. I'll go with either of those. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
That's a
gonna
good point.
go deception.
Go for it. Yeah, I'm good with that.
22. Deception's +8.
Yeah, so you see two of the really big arcane lights flip over to where they heard the noise and the crashing window. So all the guards are like, hey, there's something over there. What is that? And you see that one guard from each group begins to get down off the wall and start to come out of the fort after a little bit of time and rush over to the window.
So I'm definitely gonna cast fog.
All right, yeah, so you cast fog. Where are you casting fog exactly?
I'm gonna aim it toward where the crash was.
Okay.
And since Alexis isn't here, hocus pocus, you are now out of focus.
I got it. That was good.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so you hit the fog in the area of the crash. Do you wait for the guards to get close to the window, or are you doing it before they get there?
So I have another thing on me, and I'm gonna try to see if it'll work. Jump.
Okay.
And I know it's touch based, but can't I? If I touch myself, wouldn't that mean that I can then jump?
Yep, that's correct. Okay, so you cast jump on yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
My goal is to jump the
Alrighty.
gap between the house to the fort.
Okay, I like it. Give me a acrobatics or athletics check. And we'll say at advantage since you're doing the jump spell. Yeah, so you go for this jump to clear the gap, and it's like almost perfect. It's wonderful. Also give me a stealth check to see how stealthy it was.
18 plus 5, 23. So my goal is to aim toward like the center wall between the pillars. Is it just 2 arcane lights in the front?
So there's 4 arcane lights.
Yeah, so in between a 2. That's what she's aiming for.
Perfect. And now you are on top of the wall. There is a guard at each corner. And as you look across to the other side of where you're at, it seems that there's a guard walking along the street of that side.
So is the guard walking toward her or away from her?
So when you look across the gap of the fort, like the courtyard, he's walking to the right.
Okay.
So they do like a clockwise rotation, it looks like.
What she's gonna use is her cloak. She's gonna use her sticky cloak, and she's gonna head toward the inner part of that wall, and head toward, following kind of, but like in the same patterning toward him, so she's staying out of his line of sight, kind of a thing.
Okay. And you're scaling the inside of the wall, right? Give me a perception check real quick.
16 plus 3 is 19.
You're rolling so well tonight. Oh my gosh.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
This is
so-
not usual, but my numbers are doing pretty good, so.
So you see a couple of things. First thing you see is that you see on the opposite wall from where you were, there's a barracks. What it looks like is a barracks where like soldiers would house. And it's like a good 4-story barracks. Like it's a tall thing. It almost reaches the top of the other side of the wall. You also notice next to that, there's what looks to be a stable yard. So that's where they keep horses. And you also notice that it doesn't just keep horses. There is also a griffin in there as well.
I thought that he rode in on a hippogriff. The one guy.
Yeah, I accidentally said hippogriff, but I don't think that's. I think that's just a Harry Potter thing. I meant griffin.
I mean, technically, it's not.
They're both real. They're just different.
Oh, is it really? Oh yeah, then I meant hippogriff because the hippogriff is the hippogriff is more like a. I think it was hippogriff is what I was thinking. So yeah, there's a hippogriff in the stable. Also see that there is seemingly this very small blacksmith area on the opposite side of the stable. And then there's also below that, closest to you, there's this open garden kind of courtyard area with a house in the middle of it that seems to be pretty well constructed and very elegant. And then in the very middle is a giant tower and has like a little pointed spire at the top with like shingling. So it's like a pointed roof. And it has large windows on all sides of it.
It's gonna be interesting. The question here, now that she's on the wall, is where would she find this information? Now, barracks are usually where the soldiers usually end up sleeping.
Correct. Yep.
And I imagine there's a separate area completely for operations.
Could be. Yeah. That's a good assumption.
I think the spire first is what we're going for. I think that's what we're going to try to do.
What's your game plan? How are you getting to the spire?
Is there any sort of ability to hook?
Yeah, so I would say that you are like maybe in the corner of the wall that you got on originally and the wall to like, let's say the left of you, since you're following the clockwise formation. So right below you is the courtyard and the house. When you look up at the walls, there doesn't seem to be any like string or anything that would like connect to the spire. There are paths leading like this cross, not a cross, it's like a T path going into the spire, out, and then out one of the side of the spire, opposite of the barracks. So the wall you came in on, there's a that leads to a gate, and then each of them lead to a gate on all the sides except for the barrack side. Barrack side doesn't have a gate.
How close is this house to this spire?
The house is probably like 50, 60 feet.
So it's a little further away. Oh, I have a question. Do you see any armor out by the blacksmith area? Does she like see any armor that's just kind of out there?
Give me a perception check.
I did roll a 16.
Okay. Yeah, so you're pretty stealthy.
That falls in the category
I
of
think
like,
there is a point though. I think there's a point though that you catch up to her, and you probably catch up to her at the point where you see her jump like 50 feet. All right, yeah. So you're good right now. You're hidden right now. What's up, Molly?
So I rolled a 21. Do your elven eyes see?
Yeah. So you look over at the blacksmith area, and you can definitely see swords and armor like on a rack that is clearly like just kind of like extra pieces in case they need it. And there's probably a good 10 set of armor there, as well as 10 swords and about 5 shields, just kind of out there.
Okay. I think what she's probably going to do is she's going to try to sneak her way down the shadows to the courtyard area where it's right next to like that garden next to the house.
All right, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
23.
You pass. Yeah, it's just you pass. You did it. Good Lord. I'm hoping you're getting this out of your system now, so when Wednesday comes.
Like Wednesday, I'm going to have like terrible rolls.
So you sneak down into the courtyard. And the courtyard is actually fairly nice. There's a lot of like hedge work, and there's a little garden area that you can see, and a clothesline that's hung up that has like some different assortments of clothes that seems to be to somebody. And you see a couple of stone benches, and just beyond one of the hedges, you can see the top of the blacksmith building. But you will have to go by the house to get there.
Going around the house is probably the safer option there.
As you approach the house, and there seems to be some light that is shining through the windows, just kind of like candlelight and like normal mood lighting, shall we say? Nothing crazy. But you hear some murmuring that you can't quite make out at this distance. And as you're passing by, I'm gonna need you to make a stealth check.
This one's not as good. It's a 10.
Okay. As you are walking through the courtyard,
Step on the stick. it's gonna be a fucking crazy ass stick.
The biggest stick ever.
You actually missed you are just walking normally, and then you hear a clang, and you look down, and there was a tea set, like a little like play kids tea set that you knocked over, and it wouldn't normally make a lot of noise, right? It's a kid's tea set. It really wouldn't make a lot of noise, but you accidentally kicked one of them, and it hit a metal pail that was out by there as well, making a bit louder of a noise. And the murmuring that you heard goes silent, and then you hear heavy footsteps heading towards you, but still inside the house.
I'm gonna say she ducks towards shadows and like uses her cloak to kind of help her hide in the shadowing part.
Go ahead and give me a acrobatics or athletics check.
14 plus 5 equals 19.
After kicking the tea set and hearing the footsteps, you expertly dive into the shadows. Do you dive into the shadows by the house or over by maybe one of the hedges?
Is the hedges closer toward the blacksmith area?
Yeah, they would probably end up closer to the blacksmith area.
And that's where she's headed.
Okay. So yeah, you dive into one of the bushes. As you look back at the house, it seems that the back door rips open. And you have dark vision, right? Because you're a half elf?
I think. I don't know. I do.
Yes, you do have dark vision. So what you see walk out is a rather large being, specifically a half orc. It's a large half orc. He's wearing just a white kind of like cut shirt, and brown trousers, boots. And he walks out and his tusks are out and visible. And he looks around. Yep, he's shit at perception. Doesn't see anything. And you hear a young woman's voice shout out, what was it? Did you see anything? And in a gruff voice, he responds back, no, looks like it was just maybe a rat or something. Maybe a raccoon. And he eerily walks back into the house and shuts the door.
Or a gecko.
Yeah, right? And
Okay.
so what are you going to do?
What is so I'm trying to head over toward the armory. My goal in her mind, because she's not talking to anybody, so she's gonna talk. I'm sure her thoughts are to the DMs. She's thinking, if I can steal some armor, throw on some armor, I should be able to enter in different areas a lot easier. That's what she's gonna do. Is that she's gonna use the armor to help her deceive her way into the building and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be pretty easy. You just gotta walk through the hedge and get to the other side.
Okay, so we're gonna walk through that hedge.
But I am gonna have you do another stealth check.
It's gonna be really hard against that fucking bush. She's in a
This
bush.
time it's disadvantage because you're trying to go through a bush that's like cracking and sticks and leaves and everything.
I can imagine. 24?
Okay, is that after rolling twice
Okay.
and taking the lower?
Oh, I have to roll twice and then take the lower?
That's disadvantage. So disadvantage is rolling
Oh.
twice and taking the lower. Advantage is rolling twice and taking the higher.
I see. I will roll twice.
Yep.
The other one was 22.
Look, okay. Yeah, you apparently know hedges really well and are able to sneak through without making much of a sound at all. And
She's
right in front of you.
Master of hedge.
So right in front of you is the blacksmith. You hear the sound of clang, clang,
Oh.
clang, very rhythmically. And Ray, we're gonna have you make another stealth check.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah.
You got a what?
Yeah. I got 20. Not a natural 20, but a 20 is it.
Okay.
I got an 18 plus 2.
Dirty 20. Okay. So as you round the
correct.
corner, you see all these guards have rushed to this house with a brick through the window. And they're looking at each other like, what the heck is going on? And then you see a small halfling that is also with the guards. And he's wearing a nightcap and a nightshirt. And he seems fuming. And he's like, well, you guys better figure it out. What's going on? There's a hole in my house. What is this? And one of the guards is like, sir, please calm down. We're trying to figure out what's going on. It's like, well, try harder. What's going on? All right. We were sleeping fine. And then all of a sudden, and they're making a lot of ruckus. and you see that there is a bit of fog that is dissipating slowly in that area as well.
How far am I from said gecko now?
So you are probably about 50, probably I would say more like 70 feet away from the actual fort, which at this point you're not really sure where she went. And what are you looking to do insight on?
I am doing insight to seeing if there are any remnants or any tracks of where she went. That is what I'm looking for insight.
I mean, I did
And my insight's
jump.
plus 5. I have 19.
Okay.
So
You have 19?
Oh, yes, correct. 14 plus 5.
You okay. So you look around to see if you can see any trace of Solstice. And I'm gonna be real with you, buddy. She rolled a 22 on that. So there's not a whole lot to see. It's she hit it pretty well.
Say, can I roll a perception to attempt to see like what's around me? Attempt to figure out where she went?
Actually, give me an investigation check.
I rolled a 9.
Yeah, so you look around and there's still just not a whole lot to go on. She seemed to come through here, but you have no idea. You don't see any tracks or anything leading you anywhere. The only thing that you can tell is that there's a little bit of fog over where the guard and the halfling are. And there seems to be 5 guards there, and a broken window. That's what you have to go on.
Like magic.
So Molly, you are face to face with the blacksmith building. And inside, it's kind of like an open forge area, right? So there's there's not really a door, there's just an open wall, right? And so inside you can see where the swords and the armor are hanging.
And I hear a clanging.
You do hear a clanging, yeah.
If I hear a clanging, that means there's a person there.
It's there, like maybe, yeah.
In this sense, Mr. Wiggles, and I'm gonna have him sneak on, see if he sees a person. If he does, he just comes on back.
Let's say, because I don't think we haven't done that yet. Go ahead and give me a stealth check, and I'll say that Mr. Wiggles can go off of your stealth stat.
15 plus 5 is 18.
So Mr. Wiggles comes in, and what you hear is the clanging stops. And then you hear a voice, and it's very gruff, and it says, "Who's there? State your name."
It's Raven, and I forgot my armor.
Okay, Raven, okay.
Bamboozle. I like to roll for
Give
bamboozle.
me a
Deception?
Give me a deception check. Yeah, give me a deception check.
I rolled a nat 20 and my deception's plus 8.
No, that's really good. That's a critical success. So you hear the gruff voice being like, "Raven, I don't know if I know anybody, Raven. Well, what are you doing sneaking around for? Get in here and get your armor."
Right. She comes on out, but she's undoes her cloak really quickly. Dawn comes on out, grabs the armor real quick and throws it on.
So you're not trying to face him?
She's kind of like trying to avoid eye contact.
So by the way, what are the chances that the armor actually fits on the first try?
We're about to find out. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
He's 15. It's a 15.
You try not to face him, but what you do notice out of the corner of your eye, as he's gone back to hitting metal over and over again, he's staring right at you, and he's just keeping time. Clang, 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 clang. Not missing a beat, not diverting his eyes from you.
She's not gonna put on any armor. She's just gonna grab a chest piece, a helmet, and Probably like some pant situation, and then call it. She's gonna grab that, and then
Is she just grabbing kind of whatever, or is she being
she's
selective?
grabbing enough to she's grabbing enough to cover most of her.
Is this like a hurried fashion, or is she picking out stuff that might fit her?
She's doing her best to like kind of look at the different ones and try to piece together what ones they fit and everything.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check to see if you pick out.
Oh shit! It's +8. So that's 14.
Perfect. So you grab the pieces that you need, and you go to grab the helmet and you pick it up. What you see, right? It's like this is a dwarf, right? Like this is a dwarven. Like he's a pretty stocky guy, gray beard, gray hair. He looks like he's up there in age, but like he's still really buff. And you just hear that gruff voice go, "Hey, why are you grabbing Olark's?
Oh, Olark.
That's his helmet."
Didn't realize he didn't have a name tag in his.
Well, you're taking the helmet from the not spare helmets. Don't you know which helmet is? It's the one on the end.
Well, they transferred me last week. I'm still getting used to where everything is.
Give me a deception.
27.
Yeah. So you say that he's like, newbies, and he goes back to clanging rhythmically again, not taking his eyes off you. He's like, "Have you ever been to battle, kid?"
No, I just left the barracks, and that was about it on, training more than anything.
Clangs it again and stops. And then he picks up the sword that he has in his hand. And he holds it up, but he's still staring at you. And he's like moving it around a little bit. And then he dings it on the anvil and it makes this reverberating sound. And he says, "Take it from one soldier to another. You don't want to go. War is one of the worst things ever." And he takes it and he just sticks the sword in like a vat of oil and then pulls it back out. All this happening with his bare hand, by the way.
Of course.
And then he places it back on the anvil. And again, he's still staring at you. And he says, "Just know that while you're here in this fort, the spare helmets are on the end."
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir.
"No problem." You go grab the right helmet, and you just hear him go, "There you go. Now you're learning." And you notice this time, go ahead and give me another perception check.
I've got 11 on perception for this one.
So you notice that he's no longer staring directly at you, but he is staring directly at the spot where you were. And as you put on the helmet, he said, "Oh, also, you didn't hear it from me, but as far as pets go, otters aren't allowed in the fort, so I would find a place for it."
Thanks for the heads up. I'll find it. I'll find a home for him. He just kind of starts following me around, and it's just kind of one of those things. Thanks for that.
I'm sure it is. He's like, "Oh, I got one more thing for you." And you see him turn around and he reaches down and he's like, he grabs the top of the desk in a couple of places and then he grabs onto a dagger and he pulls it back and he turns back around and he holds it out to you, handle side. He's like, "You're going to want a dagger too."
I'll take the dagger.
So you pick up the dagger. It's made pretty well. He grabs his hammer from the side of the anvil again. And he's like, "Also make sure to get some sleep, all right, young one? Unless you're on watch tonight. Are you on watch tonight?"
I don't think so.
"Yeah, you better get to bed, all right? Mornings come really early around here." Ergmug I love the guy. We have our tiffs, but he is a slave driver. You didn't hear that from me, though.
I am asking as Solstice because she doesn't know Ergmug just yet.
He's like, "Man, you really are fresh. How have you been here 2 weeks and you don't know Ergmug?"
I blend into the crowd.
Give me another deception check.
25.
25? He says, "Yeah, well, you can blend into the crowd, but you gotta know Ergmug." Yeah, that's okay. Better you know now than later. He's the main captain of this camp, of this fort. He's the guy that runs this place. He signs her up for the patrols. He's the one that is supposed to be caring for the people here. But I won't get into my views on what he's doing around here.
Would want to be wary of making sure I don't step on his toes.
Oh, I would agree. He's you get on his bad side, he'll be scooping horse manure for the next week.
He doesn't stay in the barracks, does he?
And he gives this big, deep, like, belly laugh. It feels like it shakes things a little bit, but you're not sure if that's just your perception of it or like what, but it's a big laugh. And he says, "Oh God, no. He's a little bit too high and mighty for the rest of us. Thinks he's some big shot that came from... Here's the thing, kid. Never get wrapped up into academy bullcrap, all right? The one way you're going to learn how to be a good guard, how to go into battle, is experience. It's learning from your elders, all right? This guy, he thinks he's a big shot. Came from the academy, got his way there, and he's here now. He, of course, wouldn't live amongst us commoners." And he pounds his anvil and gives another really hard guttural laugh. Or belly laugh, and kind of like starts to walk over, and he feels the cabinets for a second and then opens up one of them and then starts feeling around the shelves for like different components and things.
As somebody who's trying not to run into Ergmug?
Ergmug, yep.
He's trying to avoid stepping on Ergmug's toes. Where is he presiding exactly?
He grabs some of the components off of the shelf and brings it back over to the anvil, and stares at you, and places them on the anvil. And he says, "Oh, you mean where he lives? You saw the big fancy courtyard over there, right? With the house? That's where him and his family live."
Oh, I didn't realize. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together.
He's like, "Listen, newbie, I ain't gonna go hard on you or anything." He starts like layering these, the steel one on top of the other, different kinds of steel and things. But let me make it clear. He's like, "There's certain things you gotta start learning around here, or else we're gonna have, I can't help you all the time. That's all I gotta say." And he continues to layer the steel on top of each other. But yeah, he lives in the house. You got that spire. That's where all the main intelligence and the offices of the fort are. You got the barracks where the people sleep, and then you got the stables where we got the horses. And the hippogriff, don't touch the hippogriff, all right? I don't care who tells you to do it, who says it's an initiation bullshit thing. Don't touch the hippogriff. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And he like points, not exactly at your face, but like in your direction.
Yeah.
He's like, "Good." And then he starts layering steel again while staring right at you. "And if you need anything, you come find me, okay? I'm willing to help. I got plenty of stuff, plenty of weapons I'm willing to also test drive if you are ever ambitious." He puts one last steel plate on there. He's like, "All right, I got to make this sword. You better hurry off to bed, all right? Like I said, mornings come really quick around here."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
"Oh, also, hey, don't forget about tomorrow morning, okay?"
What's going on? I know that they said something earlier, but what's exactly happening on tomorrow morning?
Give me a deception check.
You don't notice anything wrong. Everything's fine. I just forgetful.
22. That +8 really does a number.
He looks at you and says, "You haven't heard about tomorrow?" And again, staring at you kind of blankly. "I mean, everybody's heard about tomorrow. You heard what happened tonight, right?"
Oh, of course. I just got a bad memory. Got dropped in my head when I was a kid.
So, I see. What was your name again? Raven. Yeah, I don't remember that name. I hope you have found what you came for, and good luck if you're still looking for it. He goes back, and you see him pull out this hot tong from the fire as he starts to fuse the plates together, so he can begin working on it. And again, he's just staring at you blankly as he does it.
He's definitely blind. Well, she takes the armor for sure, and she goes to the nearest shadowy area and slips onto it. It slips it in on. Slips.
Do it
Slips
easy
the armor
peasy.
on.
Done. Yep, you're good to go.
Now that we've got some information, she's going to head directly to that spire.
And as you're on your way to the spire, can you make me an Arcana check, please?
So 18?
Perfect. As you're approaching the middle spire, you all of a sudden feel this strange sensation in your mind, and it sounds like a voice. It's kind of out of focus. You could probably focus in on the voice if you like listened hard, but it feels a little bit out of sync.
Is it getting stronger as you get as I get close to the spire?
No, it seems to be just kind of like it's like if there was a radio and there's like static and stuff. It's like if you took a second to try and tune into it, you might be able to hear it. But your distance to the tower doesn't change the volume or the strength of the sound.
Try to focus on it, I guess.
Since you got it was a 18, right?
18. Yeah, 18.
Since you got an 18, you try to focus in on this voice, and it takes a little bit, but you start to hear it better and better. And all of a sudden, you hear the sound of Eridanus in your mind, and he goes, I'm sorry. Hi. Is that Solstice? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Apologies if I woke you up. I wanted to apologize for not contacting you during our mission of justice. You seemed confident to work on your own, so I assumed you would want to do your own thing, as what we were doing did not pertain to the main mission. But now that I know that you wish to also be involved in all matters, legal or non-legal, violent or non-violent, I'll invite you should the ability to do so be present.
Thank you.
It's like, of course.
Eridanus, I hate to break it to you. It is a little late at night.
He's like, yes, it is. I again, apologies for that. He's like, I'll let you rest now, and he cuts off the connection.
Good.
So that happens, and you are currently face to face with the Spire. But before we figure out what happens there, Ray.
Hi.
There's a fight that's about to break out. This halfling is ready to go off on these guards. He's like, you're supposed to be here protecting us, and now I've got a brick through my window. What is this, the mafia? What's going on here? I pay you good money to keep my shop safe. What are you doing?
I don't really know if dropping down and saving him is a good idea, considering I'm a wanted on a list. And I'm armorless currently, so this is not a vibe scenario to drop down and be like, huzzah! I don't have that right now. So,
no, that's fair. You hear that the guards come back and they're like, listen, sir, we understand. We know what's going on. We're trying our best to figure out what's happening. We're really confused. We don't know what's going on. We heard a loud noise. We came to investigate, and this just seems very bizarre. We're working on it, okay? Stop shouting. He's like, stop shouting? What do you mean? It's 2:00 in the morning. I can shout if I want to. And you see one of the guards takes the butt of his sword and just bashes the halfling with that end. He says, quiet down. You listen here, all right? We're here to do you a service. You should be more thankful that we showed up at all.
Fuck that guy.
There seems to be a leader in the group, and he's kind of like, okay, guys, listen. Mr. Halfling, sir, if I may. And he adjusts his glasses. It seems that you have a little issue. And maybe I should take this time to remind you that we do offer quite a lovely experienced plus plan for protection that we'd be more than willing to offer you given this recent issue. And the halfling gets even redder, and he's like, did you guys do this to sell me your damned experience plus plan? And the guard's like, no. This is nothing to get exasperated about. It's a very simple fee. Just, I don't know, 100 gold a month? What, 100? This is highway robbery. And the guard's like, well, this is fair, but who knows what could happen if you don't? And he snaps his finger, and the 4 guards start to walk towards the house, and they go up to the other windows and start bashing them with the sword. And they bash another one, and the halfling's like, okay, 100 a month, fine, just give me a second. And he walks in, And he's in there for a little bit, and then he comes out and he drops a bag of coins into the leader guard's hand. He's like, "There, take it. Just leave my shop alone." And the guard looks in there, opens the bag. "Pleasure doing business with you. Thank you, good day." And he's like, "All right, boys, let's go." And he definitely has like a Waluigi vibe to him, where he's like the hunched shoulders and like
big tall, leggy, massive,
yeah,
jaw, super scary mustache, but like cloaked in Indian. I got it. I could see it.
And they start to walk back. And as they start to walk back, give me a perception check.
Ooh, I see all things. Hold on. I see all things. It's a dirty 20. Never mind. I see more than I see more than I did here with my last one.
So what you hear from the guards is this. The lead guard stops and he picks up a sending stone to his ear. "Sorry, could you repeat that one more time?" And the sending stone goes and he like goes at attention. He's like, "Urgabug heard something? That's impossible. We don't let things get inside the fort." Is he sure? Don't ask him that. That's a bad idea. We will be right there to investigate. And they start to rush into the fort to investigate this noise.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to sneak towards the fort.
Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Ooh, I got a dirty 21.
You are now right up against the fort. The beams of light are going just out of your reach, and so they can't get you. And you are next to the fort, and there's a gate probably about 20 feet from you. Molly, you are currently face to face with this tower, the spire. So what is the game plan?
I guess open the door.
So you open the door, and inside the tower, it's pretty basic. It's not like anything extravagant. There seems to be like a spiral staircase that goes all the way up around in like a spiral to the top floor. And at the bottom, you see there is a desk. And you hear ding, ding, ding. Go ahead. Are you opening the door stealthily, or are you just opening the door?
I'm just opening the door. I'm disguised.
And you hear the sound of a young halfling boy, and he goes, "Who goes there?"
Raven.
Raven.
I'm a newbie. Sorry.
Deception check.
22.
And at that, you see a little halfling pop up over the counter. And he's like, "Oh, a newbie, just like me. Hello, welcome. How's it going? When did you come in?" Don't answer that. I don't think I'm supposed to ask that. Am I? What was I doing? Oh, sorry, 1 second. And he goes back and he goes, and then he comes back and he's like, "Oh, it's so cool to have new people here. Hello, my name is Grugma. How are you?"
Name is Raven. Nice to meet you, Grugma.
"Nice to meet you too. What can I do for you?"
I am looking for our document area. I told them my birthday was in a particular town, and they totally wrote it wrong. And I was just informed this morning. I have to make sure that it gets changed.
Guess what? That's part of my job, actually. If you want to tell me your birthday, I can write it down and make sure it gets changed in the documents. It'd be really easy.
Sure. I just want to make sure that it gets changed. That's my biggest thing. Is there any chance that you could also show me where it?
You can trust me. Scout's armor. I know it. Well, I don't know if I mean, I guess I could. I don't know if I'm really supposed to. I kind of just got the job. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to show people the documents. It was kind of Urgmug's rules, you know? I wasn't sure.
I mean, that's completely fair. I guess I can just... I guess I can talk to somebody else about that. Unless, of course, you're willing to let this one slide.
Persuasion check.
Roll for a bamboozle.
What?
A 21?
Yeah.
He fidgets with his fingers and he pushes them together a couple times, and then he thinks, and then he scratches his head and he's like, "I mean, I could do it. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, come on, it's like it's one time, but Snoopy's gonna stay together, right? I mean, I need to make friends. But then if I get in trouble with Argama, what does Argama need to know? I mean, it's kind of an easy thing. I just go in and go out and okay, sure, why not?" And he hops down from his seat and runs around the counter. He's like, this way. And he starts to run up the stairs. And he's like, "It's a little bit of a climb, but you know, you get used to it after a while." And he continues to start to walk up the stairs.
Okay, I just follow after him. Yeah, no, I get it. Like the stairs and everything. I can only imagine your poor legs.
That's okay. Where I come from, we have tons of stairs. My parents, they really like to build really tall, and so, it's just like stairs everywhere. There's this thing, though, in the Dwarven Kingdom that they've been talking about. It's like an uppy, downy, the machiney thing. I think they call it an, elevator. I don't know. It sounds like a fat ass, but who knows? I don't know. I'm kind of cool. I'm a tinker. Did I tell you? An artificer. I like to make things, and so I'm really impressed by the whole things.
And he's just rambling on and on about nonsense and just like all of his thoughts and things. He clearly is just kind of all
Excited.
over the place, which is great.
Excited.
He's very excited as well. And as you're nearing the top, he has jumped conversations several times, gone from talking about his artificer training to how he got here, and then he's starting to tell you about the cool new facts he learned about birds and hippogriffs, and then he's also telling you about the war that happened, because he's been learning a lot about the war, and then he finally gets to the top, and he's like,
but listen to me ramble on and on, but here we are, welcome to the records room.
Thank you for that information. It seemed honestly really interesting. I have to say, your notes about the hippogriff are fascinating, especially since we had one inside the fort. Isn't that the craziest thing?
he blushes a little bit. He's like,
Shucks. See, I don't know. This is just a little bit light reading I did the other day, but it's kind of fun. I was like, yeah, we do have a hippogriff here. It's really cool. I think it's Ergma's, though. I really want to ride it one day, but everybody tells me I can't. But that's okay. Yeah. I'm all right with that.
I know, it's one of those, they're mythical creatures. They really shouldn't be bothered kind of a thing. It's kind of a rarity in that sense.
It's very true. They're very rare, and especially around this area. We haven't had one around here in a really long time. At least that's what my parents said. I didn't read about that. Because, all the books are kind of like, nah, but that's just a conspiracy theory. I don't actually know if they are, probably, that's not a big deal. Anyways, we're here at the records room. Now we need personnel files. And he starts to, mumble to himself and, tap his chin. And he starts to walk around, and he, looks up at the different bookcases, personnel files, personnel files, personnel files. And he's trying to find the personnel file section at the moment.
Okay, DM, this is going to seem really mean. I have to talk to you, because this is what she's thinking. She can't talk to anybody except for this other dude, and she doesn't know this dude. She has another shingle. She might knock this guy out.
That's rude.
It's an option. You're able to do this. It's your story.
Okay. I'm thinking we knock him out when he's not paying attention. Really bad, because he seems...
Hold on, what did I say?
You seem like a nice guy. You seem like a nice guy. To hell with you.
But she's gotta get this information.
Also, this is gonna be even worse. Where did I just name him? I forgot his name.
Gog? Grog?
It's
We're gonna go with Gurgog.
People who are listening to this recording, Jacob, edit, and then you take the name.
His name is Craig.
Exactly. That's exactly what's gonna happen, and it's gonna be in his voice because that's how I said it. I waited too long to record this section. I don't feel like going back and trying to figure out what his name was. You have a rewind option. You can find that out from this way forward. His name is gonna be Gurgmug. Or Gurgog, whatever I said previously, because I wrote that down in my notes.
Two things.
Yes.
Before that.
Go for it.
I want to know, is there... Hi, that's my dice. Stop it. I want to know if there's a window nearby, or is it just the spire?
You're gonna throw him out the window? What's wrong with you?
No.
You're gonna knock him out. His body out the window.
There are actually big stained glass windows on all four sides of the spire.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So when he's looking at the shelving and everything, checking out the different records and stuff, she's gonna take the shingle and she's gonna conk him on the head.
Okay, give me a. I think you actually have a sneak attack. I'm guessing you're going for non-lethal damage.
Non-lethal damage, yes.
Okay, go ahead and we'll count that. It's a modified weapon, technically, I think. I don't know if you can do that necessarily.
when the DM says that a shingle's a modified weapon.
I mean, is it not? Okay.
My first attack, and I have to knock out this poor little halfling that's just so excited to talk to me. Alright, little Timmy, but Buddy's gotta go night-night. It's time for you to go.
We're gonna treat this as an unarmed strike.
Unarmed strike,
which
okay.
should be in your... actions list, and it's a plus. I think you have a +3.
Because I've never done one of these before, so.
Yeah,
Well,
you're good.
give her the beans, but don't kill him. It's a fine
And you only
line
do
between-
1 bludgeoning damage, but we'll say that since you're using the shingle, it'll be enough to knock him out. Because he's just a small halfling and he's not expecting it.
And he's
Okay,
so
so,
excited.
What do I do? Do I roll for it, or?
Yep, so you roll a d20 and then add 3 to your roll because it does, I think, dexterity? Or it's just maybe your proficiency bonus.
17 plus 3.
Okay, so a dirty 20. All right, yeah. So you walk up and he's looking at the personnel files. Personnel. I feel like I remember seeing this somewhere, but why am I forgetting where it's at? Maybe it's not what personnel. Wait, isn't Oh no, I forgot about that personal engagement I had the other day. Oh shoot, what do I do with that? I don't know. Wait, personnel files. And he's doing, and as he's like mid thinking, you just clonk him aside the head, and he falls over, unconscious.
Okay. How big is this room? How many files are there? And is there like a desk?
Yeah, I would say that you can look around and not have to do a perception check. So you see there's actually not a ton. There's a lot of bookshelves. So when you walked in, there's like the center area that has a couple of chairs and couches. And then just beyond that, there is a circle of bookshelves that are sideways. So it looks like there's like a bunch of hallways between. They're not hallways, but like pathways between bookcases, in like a circle around you that like extend out, and they seem to be labeled for different things. If you want to do investigation check, you can do that to see if you're looking for what you're looking for.
We're looking for information on Alicia, so I guess it would be like.
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Okay, so 12 plus 5, so that makes it 17.
So you go down the rows, and there's stuff like for personnel files, which is what Gurgog was looking for. And then you look at some other ones. There's like battle strategy plans. There's newspaper clippings. There's a whole section for that, and for history of newspaper stuff going back. There's history books. There's autobiographies, and then you get to a point where it says investigations, ongoing investigations. And you look down that hallway of books, and it takes you a little bit, but you find a file that is listed as Xanathar. You don't find anything on Alicia, but you do find a Xanathar file. I'll also say you also find one for Madame Zidane. She has a file in there as well.
What about Mr. Man?
You don't see any files under that name.
I'll take those files. I'll take the files that I grab. So the file for Xanathar and Madame Zidane.
Okay.
And the last file I'm looking for would be for it's the guy the
Ergmug?
Ergmug, thank you.
Yep. Go for it. Go ahead and roll me another perception or investigation check.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
22. Yeah, so you look all in the investigation area, and there's nothing on Ergmug. But you do have the thought that it might be a personnel file for him. So you run over to the personnel files, and there is a personnel file on Ergmug there. It says Captain Ergmug Sudagog. And it is kind of this bright green file, or more like a leaf green. Sorry, leaf green file, and it has a bunch of parchment with like all kinds of information on him that would be public record.
Okay. With that being said, I would take that information.
Okay.
At this point, I need to take off the armor I'm wearing, the disguise armor that I was using, change back into the Getaway Gecko cloak. My last choice is to break one of the stained glass windows with the last shingle that I had.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a strength check. or you can do, I would say, strength check or... Yeah, we'll do strength check, sorry.
14, no buff.
Okay. So yeah, you hit this window, and it cracks a bunch, like just a spider web, and then you go in for another tap, and before you even hit, it just explodes out, and glass goes flying. You immediately hear sounds of shouting and guards yelling, and the lights just flare around and point them at the main tower where the noise is coming from. I'm gonna need you to make a stealth check at a disadvantage if you want to try to escape.
In 20, so I will take the 15.
I believe I saw that. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, you would have heard the sound. You would have heard the breaking of glass, and you would have seen the lights flare up around towards the tower. As the lights are coming in, the lights are like starting to swing over towards you, and you instinctively jump down onto the wall, and I'm guessing are starting to climb down the side of the spire.
So, she uses
what do you
the
want to
dagger. She uses the dagger that she got, and she
Okay.
uses it to slide down the wall with the dagger on the opposite side.
Okay, hold on a second. This is really good.
Oh, and as soon as I land, I cast fog.
Is Molly about to fall off the side of the building?
I hope not. I mean, I do have my getaway gecko thing, but she's trying to make a quick getaway.
You start sliding down. You plunge the dagger and you start sliding down. And as you do this, go ahead and make a perception check.
Perception check, you got it. Hey, I don't drop the dice all the way into the couch. No! Get back here! I need you! Wait! The coast is clear. We've got the dice. We rescued the baby. What's 18 tell me?
Yeah. 18 tells you that as you're sliding down, there's this thick black sorry, one second. It's like a thick black coat that's coating the walls as you're slipping down, and it seems to be coming from the blade. But it is helping you scale the wall.
Okay.
So you land, and you can cast fog. I think that's all your spell slots, right? Because you did jump and then 2 fog clouds.
That's all my spells for today.
Yep, that's all the spells you can do. So yeah, so you do that, and as you land in a poof of fog that goes out about 20 feet. And at this point, the guards are like, oh, wait, where did it go? And there is a split second where one of them, because they rolled an 18, swoops down. It's like, she slid down the wall. And so where are you going to go now? Ray, at this point, you notice a couple of things. One, the gate is open because the guards that you were following back are rushing in.
I'll make my way in.
So you are currently in the fog, and there are 5 guards running at you guys.
So
well,
we're
at
all
you, Solstice.
So we're in the, okay.
At
I
you,
was like, so
Solstice.
we're in the fog together. I'm like,
You're not-
damn, I'm a fast runner.
You're I'm gonna say you're running behind. In that case, roll for initiative. First up will be Solstice, and you are currently in the fog, and there are 5 guards that are kind of created a semicircle around the fog and are like are going to be heading in on their turn. What are you gonna do on your turn?
I'm going to use my crooked staff and sweep their legs.
Awesome. Okay. Which one are you gonna sweep?
So I'm gonna sweep the one closest to the building, I guess. The nearest building,
Okay.
town building, because she's trying to get it back onto the rooftops and stuff to get away. So that would be where she's aiming for.
You're currently still in the fort, though. You've not made it out of the fort yet. You're at the base of the tower.
That wasn't clarified. Would have been important. Where is she facing exactly?
She's facing the front gate. So this is the wall that you came in on. So you're facing the front gate. To your left is the blacksmith building, and to your right is the hedge maze with the courtyard and that. And there are the 5 guards.
She's gonna aim for the front gate. Is it open? Firstly, To ask that obvious question, is it open?
At the moment, yes, it is open at the moment because there are just people the guards have just came in, so it is open. Yes. So you are running in about 20 feet. You burst out of the fog because it's a 20-foot
I'm
radius.
still wearing my Getaway Gecko cloak, so.
Right. And you're about 10 feet away from a guard. There are two on either side of you, but they're about 20 feet away, and they turn to see you jumping out of the fog. And you are face to face with one of the guards.
Face to face, I sweep his legs with my cane.
Okay, go ahead, and I'm going to, and then you can do your hit DC, which is +3.
He's gonna be wiped out. 19 plus 3.
Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, he got straight 8. He's fucked.
But you sweep him so hard that he actually falls on his head a little bit. And so he is hurting right now. That helmet didn't do too many favors for him. The first guard is going to look over and be like, oh my gosh, what was that? And he's going to try to run towards you. And then he is going to take his spear and try and hit you. Does a 5 hit your AC? So he doesn't hit. He misses. The next guard is going to come up and try the same thing, but with his sword. He's going to come with a slash, and he gets a 14. So he comes down with the slash, and he hits you in the back. 7 points of damage. The next guy, he's flat on his back right now, so he's not going to do anything. Then the next guard, one of the guards to your right, is going to come up and try to hit you as well with his sword. Oh my gosh, he almost got a natural 20, but he didn't. He only got a 5. So you're good. He goes to try and swipe, but he stumbles a bit and he isn't quite able to connect. And then the last guard is going to come in and try to slash at you. And he got a 15. So he does another slashing motion for another 2 damage.
Max is 21 and I'm at 12. I'm hurting. Owie. Yeah, she's gonna book it, but if there is a near guard, she's gonna try to slash him with the dagger that she just got.
Okay, equip the dagger.
I can't tell which one is the dagger, because there's 2 daggers.
I'll equip it for you. You'll just have to reload the page. I equipped it, just reload.
Reloading. Reloading. There we go. Hooray! And she's gonna slash any guards that she is close to with the dagger on the whip. Even if it's a nick.
Sure. I would say it's probably the guard that's in front of you, flat on his back. So you can go ahead and slash him. Sure.
So she slashes the one who's
or
already
you can go to the left or the right. You can do the one on the left or the right. That as well.
I'm gonna do not the one that's down on the ground because he's hurt.
Roll to hit.
21.
You were intending on stabbing him, but instead you killed him instantaneously.
You intended to just give him a little pinch, and instead you cut off his whole fucking hand.
So he's gonna do a Constitution saving throw. He did not succeed. So you get to do 1d4 plus 3 damage, as well as 2d10 poison damage.
So the d4 was a 4. D10s. I gotta find my D10s. Hold on. Hold your horses. Hold them. This one that looks like a little spaceship is?
Yeah, the one that one.
It's like that one, but it's the one that doesn't have the 20, 30, 40. It's just 1 through. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So twice. 3 and 6. Yeah, so you go up and you slash this guard, and that thick black substance gets inside his wounds, and you just see that it seeps in and starts tearing at the flesh where you swiped, and you see him just kind of convulse a bit and fall over. So you're running to the gate, you make it to the gate, and at this point you run right into Alison, who is standing there at the gate.
Alison, go back! Go back!
What on earth are you doing here? Nice.
Long story, make it short, turn the fuck around, that way!
So I guess we're turning around and running together. Bravely ran away.
Yeah.
The guards look at their dead friend, who is just convulsing on the ground, and has like foam coming out of his mouth, and they are just horrified. And they look over at you guys, and they don't even move. They're terrified. And the guard that was on the ground gets up, and as you guys are running away, he shouts, and he'll be like, "You think this is the last of me? I think not." And he adjusts his glasses. He's like, "I'm on to you, Gecko. This will be the last heist you ever have." He screeches as you guys start to run away. Can I have each of you make a dexterity check? Or athletics, if you want to do that. Or acrobatics, sorry.
6. Or acrobatics? I like acrobatics.
Yep.
Because that makes it way better. 19.
It's not fantastic, but I got a 14. It's not.
That's what I got, but it was +5. So
you guys are booking it, and Alison, all of a sudden, Solstice is just like zooming past you.
I am not athletic.
You guys are running, and you run by the halfling who's like sweeping up glass off the floor. And you guys are zipping by him, and he kind of like stumbles a bit. And he's like, "Hey, you scurvy little mucks! Like, slow down, you youngsters!" And he then goes back to sweeping up his stuff. Solstice, make me a perception check.
a perception check? Why, of course I will, sir. 12 plus whatever the fuck my perception is. It's 12 plus 3, which makes it 15.
As you're running away, you take one last look back at the wall of the fort. And on top of the wall is a dwarf staring blankly in your direction with a hammer in his hand. You can't tell much from this distance, but he doesn't look angry. If anything, he has an expression of pride. And you guys run back. And as you are approaching Madame Zidon's, you run in. It is still the dead of the night. Everybody is asleep. Even Madame Zidon, who is typically never sleeping, but for some reason is getting a good night's rest tonight. And you guys make it back to the tavern.
Alison, meet me in my room.
Sure.
Long story, but I had a hunch, and I trusted my gut, and look what I found. And she pulls out the files. So she pulls out the files for Madame Zidon, Zenithar, and for Ergmug.
Sudagog.
Ergmug's brother, Mugmug.
There is quite a bit of files here. There's a like the information. There's a ton of parchment in here. It would take a couple hours to get through this. And I'm gonna be real with you. If you take the time to go through it tonight, you guys will not get a long rest. I'll let you have a short rest, but I can't give you a long rest if you go through it tonight.
And I leave Molly's room and go to bed. And I actually stay asleep this time instead of waking up and going silly adventures.
All right, you get a long rest then. Solstice, you want to look into one of the...
Yes, at least one.
Okay.
Choose for it to be Madame Zidon's, because I find that
Ooh.
interesting that
Okay, no, this is really good. Okay, so you open the file labeled Madame Zidon. First page shows it's a portrait of her, and some basic bio information. Shows her name. Her first name is redacted. It's just got a black mark through it, and it only is Zidon. There's a space for her birth date, her town of origin, her just some basic information, and most of them say unknown. The only town of origin that's left is Zidonza. Which is the town you're in. That's the only thing listed under town of origin. But a lot of the information is redacted and just unknown. It's a lot of reports of Madame Zidon arguing with other guards. There's a lot of reports of guards going to ask her information or to ask about somebody, and she is being less than cooperative in different investigations. You also see that there's another page, and this page at the beginning, it has a name at the top, and it's Captain Harold Chestberry. So Captain Harold Chestberry, and underneath it is this very long and well written account of his feelings of Madame Zidane. And the date on this is from several years ago. We're talking like probably 15 years ago. Not 15, probably like more like 5, actually. 15's a lot, but 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And the letter basically says, and it lists a couple of things. The first thing that it talks about is how integral Madame Zidane is to the community within Zidanza. And how she is a lot of the strength that binds a lot of the people here and the natives here together. He recounts the many times that her business has been trying to run out of business by other competitors and other merchants that have come in to try and set up shop, and none have succeeded. There's a very detailed list of different encounters where Madame Zidane was threatened by different people, and while she didn't need it, the town would come to her aid and make it very clear that you don't mess with Madame Zidane. And the final thing it says is, to Ergmug Sudagog, from one captain to the next, I implore you to have good relation with Madame Zidane. If you want to succeed as a guard here, if you want to succeed to be a guard for the people, you must stay in good graces with Madame Zidane. And it says, even of my 10 years of being captain here, I was never a leader of this town. It was always Madame Zidane. And then it just finishes off with best wishes, best of luck. And beyond that file, there's one more piece of paper. And this piece of paper is a rather new piece of paper. And it's just titled Investigation into Madame Zidane by Ergmug Sudagog. And the investigation list is fairly empty. There's like little things here and there, things that you already knew, things that seem very unnecessary and irrelevant. But one thing does catch your eye. And specifically, it is a note by Ergmug Sudagog commenting on a recent encounter with some street urchins, that caused his guards quite a bit of trouble, and said, "We don't answer to you, we answer to Madame Zidane." Ergmug's note simply states, "It is clear to me now that Madame Zidane is a leader of a illegal group within this community, and she must be stopped. Her tyranny over the people and her terrorism has to come to an end, and I will be the one to enforce it." And that is the last bit in the file.
Okay, is there a candle in the room?
Yes, there is.
Choose to burn that file.
Okay.
I choose to protect Madame Zidane information because I like her a lot. But I was curious to see if there was anything that happened. If the letter is supposed to go to Madame Zidane from Captain Harold Chestberry, then I will choose to give it to her. But other than that, I choose to burn that information.
It seems that the letter from Harold was specifically for whoever the next captain to come up.
Sure.
And then it looks like he found out it was Ergmug and like tacked that on at the end.
Actually.
So yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I will choose instead, we're not burning it. What we're going to do is we're going to give it to Madame Zidane. And so that way she has a warning from me that Erg is trying to get her.
So are you going to give it to her tomorrow, or are you going to give it to her tonight?
Probably wouldn't be too thrilled about being woken up in the middle of the night.
That's fair.
So I will save it for her, and I will save the rest of the files. I'll have Mr. Wiggles sleep on the files so that way they stay safe.
There you go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so Mr. Wiggles does a couple circles and then settles down on top of the files. And as you decide to sleep for your long rest with this new information to share, things just got a little bit trickier.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby. Don't let them rain on your spark. Keep it close to your heart. All of the pressure's gonna drive you crazy. Close your eyes to the madness. In the morning, it's all gonna vanish. Don't be
Hear ye, hear ye. Hey, we hope you enjoyed this episode of When the Stars Fell. Solstice is played by Molly, Eridanus is played by Joe, Wally is played by Braden, Herland is played by Alexis, Alison is played by Ray, I'm your narrator, Eddy Bigspitt, and our amazing Dungeon Master is Jacob. You can find all of our social links in the episode description. Stay tuned for future episodes coming the first and third Mondays of every month. If you enjoyed the episode, leave a like, comment, and a rating to let us know you enjoyed it. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey, you want to hear a story? Extra.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.